The all-new 2020 mid-engine Corvette.
The time is here, and we are going to be waiting for the unveiling of the new Chevrolet Corvette, the C8 platform. Hello everyone, welcome to EA40, and this time we're going to take the reaction style videos that you see kind of elsewhere on the internet and apply it to the car world, especially because this is a moment we've been waiting months for. So, what's happening? The new unveiling of the Chevrolet Corvette C8. This is going to be basically the car with all covers off and everything. They're going to be unveiling most of the details and stuff about the car, some of the tech stuff. The looks of the car, although it's already leaked because of the internet, so that's ruined some of the fun. But hey, there's still going to be some cool surprises about it. So what I'm doing right now, it's 10:46 p.m. Live stream starts in pretty much a few minutes or so. I'm looking at a Road and Track article right now that is describing everything that we currently know about the new C8 Corvette. So of course, one of the big things about this one is that it's going to be the mid-engine Corvette. That's been rumored for so many years. Chevrolet has done like test mules of mid-engine ones in the past, like I don't know how many years ago, but this time it's actually happening. Also engine related, there's gonna be the new LT2 motor, which seems to be like an evolution of the LT1 that has been in the C7 Corvette. The Stingray name will be staying for the C8 Corvette. The steering wheel being 2 spokes, that's an interesting one because personally I've always been a 3-spoke person. There's also been rumors that at some point in the C8 platform there could be like some sort of hybrid system for performance, fuel economy, and even give the car a bit of all-wheel drive. So we'll see if that's mentioned tonight or if we're gonna have to wait a couple years for an announcement on that. A big thing to note is the price of the vehicle. They said that if you could afford the C6, you'd be able to afford the C7, and that turned out to be relatively true. I think the price increase was between like a few $1,000s or so, but it ended up being around the same area. Hopefully it'll start maybe in the low $60,000 range. Actually, that's almost gonna be reminiscent of the Nissan GTR supercar killer, and it was around $70,000 when it first came out until Nissan kept raising the price on it. What we're gonna do is head over to North Star Chevrolet, where I was there earlier in the day, and I filmed a bit of a walk around of a few Corvettes, kind of talking about what I liked about the C7 platform. And I'll add that the C7 platform was not only the first Corvette I would want to buy, but it was also the first Corvette that I would say looked really good next to Lamborghini Aventadors and stuff. So let's take a look at that Corvette basically. Right, so before the C7, there was the C6, which I'm not too familiar with these, but we can kind of go over some of my impressions anyway. I remember these a lot when I was growing up, kind of when I was still definitely too young to drive, and there were some things that I just found cool about the car, just like the styling overall. As like maybe a 10-year-old or so, this was one of the stuff to have. Do I love these? I love the kind of platform that they're on. I haven't gotten to drive one, but apparently these things are really good performance bargains, so I would like to drive one of these someday. One funny thing I learned though, with this headlight housing and the way it was designed, apparently police loved these for giving laser tickets because it was just reflected too well for drivers, unfortunately. Ultimately, one thing I didn't quite love about these was the interior because, I mean, look at this. It's not really the prettiest thing out there. The spec in particular, I'm not really a fan of either, but this one has more plastics. It's just not as world-class as a C7 was, so there is that in a regard. However, it's still a pretty good performance platform, so yay. And now let's move on to the generation that we're leaving really soon. Right, so I remember being in high school when this generation was announced, and like I was just blown away by the whole looks of it. Like moving on to headlights right here, the way you had the individual LEDs and stuff, it just looked so cool. Badge, I noticed there was a bit of a badge refresh. I think that helped update the car a good bit. Overall front end quite liked it. I noticed this one in particular, it does have a blacked out strip. This is a Stingray. I'm glad about that because the chrome one looked like braces. I know many owners who blacked it out or even put a Z06 grill on because they did not like the chrome strip front plate holder. Luckily, we don't need that in the state that I'm in. For this back end, I know people were mixed on the rear taillights not being circle anymore. Me, I'm a little bit mixed on it because I loved the aggressive design, but I also know that round shapes tend to age a little bit better. So I feel like the taillights could go out of style a little bit sooner. But that said, I did like the design a good bit as it came out, and I actually still quite like it now. Now, this dealership that we're at, North Star Chevrolet, I've actually been here before, and I once wrote an article about the exhausts on the Corvettes, basically with a couple of the pipes basically being straight piped and the other two basically being valved. So the exterior styling, I liked that quite a bit when the new one came out, but then again, I did still pretty much like the old Corvette styling. However, what really won me over on this one and what made this the first Corvette I would actually want to buy is the interior. Like, looking around the interior, I remember my first impression when it came out was that it reminded me a bit of the interior of the Lamborghini Murcielago, except more visually appealing and what you would expect out of a much newer car. So from looks alone, I quite liked it, especially compared to the old one. I love the way that this was all oriented towards the driver to make things easier. I like the touch they added as well to have the passenger get their own kind of climate display there. The overall design, flat bottom steering wheel, more road friendly with the kind of steering wheel that it has with more buttons, maybe less driver friendly, but for a daily driver works pretty well. Digital display, I know some people love it, some people hate it. I guess it's kind of necessary in this case. There's still some analog gauges though. By the looks and touch, I will say this interior was a massive upgrade and it made it a car that I would actually want to get. One thing I kind of wanted though was a slightly wider body on the Corvette, and for that, Chevy answered with 650 horsepower and 650 pound-feet of torque. Better looks, in my opinion, with the better grille, front splitter, everything, a wider body that just made the car look more aggressive. And I felt like this variant of the Corvette really started to do the car justice. Ultimately, of course, the difference between the Stingray and the Z06 was all mechanical and design related. The interior and various other things remained the same. Ultimately though, if I had to spend money on a Corvette, I actually wouldn't have chosen the Z06. What I would have chosen would have been either the Grand Sport or eventually the ZR1 with the ZTK package. Now, why would I prefer the ZR1 with the ZTK? Mainly because I want to be on a racetrack, so that one has more of the racetrack bits that you would want. What did I like about the Grand Sport? Corvettes have been known to have relatively explosive power delivery, and people say that the Grand Sport was overall one of the best balanced Corvettes. So to have a naturally aspirated variant of the 6.2 liter V8, that seemed really, really attractive to me. Plus, it still sounded really good. One thing about this spec though, red guts. Look at all of this. This one happens to be a better option than the Stingray that's here. It has heated and cooled seats. About the display here, you actually get it with the seat options too for the passenger, so that's quite nice. Everything of course oriented towards the driver, but look at the red leather. Look at that. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm actually gonna try and call Sam right now. Try and do like a little bit of a video call with him. So let's see, let's go on Facebook. And let's see if he picks up anything. Let's see if he picks this one up. Ah, no answer. Come on, man. Right, so since Sam of 6 Gear Auto isn't picking up, I'm going to call Bailey of Horsepower and Pizza. So yo.
Hello?
Bailey. Awkwardly, I forgot to unmute my microphone. Bailey, can you hear me? Bailey.
Yeah, what's up?
Oh, yeah, so you can hear me. Awesome. Guess what?
What's up?
You're in a vlog right now, and I wanted to know, what are your thoughts of the C8 Corvette? Because I have the live stream of it up right now and everything.
Man, I haven't even really looked into it yet. I think a mid-engine Corvette's going to be sweet. I hope GM doesn't price themselves out of their own market, because I feel like the Corvette community is, I don't want to say like an entry-level supercar, because like, I don't know, RJ and I had that whole argument, like, is the Corvette a supercar, is it not? And I don't want to get into that right now. I think they did a great thing with the transition from the C6 to the C7. They made the statement saying, hey, if you can afford the 6, you can afford the 7. And I think they know that now. And I think with as well as the C7 sold, even with some of the, like, you can option a Z06 over $100,000. And obviously the ZR1 starts at, I forget what they start at, but I know they're 120 plus, 140. Like, they're, if you can afford a $140,000 car, in my
This insightful conversation with Horsepower and Pizza could have gone on for ages. However, what I'd failed to realize was that the live unveiling of the new Corvette had already begun.
The all-new 2020 mid-engine Corvette.
Obviously, that opens your margin up a lot more. And
rudely, I had to abruptly end my phone call with Horsepower and Pizza so that I could catch what was left of the live stream.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Oh, the sound though! Bravo Corvette. That is gnarly. The little I saw there was gnarly. Wow.
Please welcome the president of General Motors, Mark Royce.
Oh, Mark Royce. Okay, he's a great guy to introduce it.
Oh, man. This is the day. Well, finally, here it is, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think? I'd never seen him before, but you could tell right away that he was someone special.
There's a teleprompter.
He was sitting there holding court, signing all kinds of things for all kinds of people.
That's cool.
And it was just so cool. The all-new 2020 Corvette is one that changes everything.
Why are the windshield wipers
up? With every succeeding
up?
generation since 1953, Chevrolet has worked hard to make Corvette better and better.
Many of our features are enabled by our new digital vehicle platform. This new electrical architecture sends signals much faster, provides state-of-the-art cybersecurity, and over-the-air reflash capability.
So actually, that electric architecture stuff, that's interesting, because one thing that was complained about in the previous generation Corvette was that it was the paddles ended up being too slow between when you pulled the paddles and the response. So if they have better electric architecture, that should be much better for this, especially because this one looks like it's dual clutch only, no manual transmission.
There's even a front lift system capable of raising the nose up to 2 inches.
Okay, supercar level stuff. Even a Cayman GT4 didn't have that.
You guys know we talk to our customers. But that front lift system is actually GPS enabled. Every time you lift the nose, it will ask you, do you want this one memorized? And if it's one you use often, all you have to do is hit a single button, say yes. It will memorize that and up to 1,000 places.
Wow. Okay, that is really, really cool, actually.
Every time you approach, it will automatically lift. You don't have to do anything. The LT2 engine and the DCT in combination with this new architecture make the new Stingray a very quick car. We are seeing 0 to 60 times under 3 seconds.
Wait, what?
You heard that right.
Huh?
C51 Stingray under 3 seconds. That puts the Stingray in the company of some of the world's quickest cars, and in our own history, only beaten by our 755 horsepower ZR1. It is a designed in America, built in America, road-going private jet with first-class seating for two that will take you places you never thought you would go.
It seems like it's going to cost so much.
In short, the Corvette is an attainable dream car. That has been true for 66 years, and the 2020 Stingray makes that truer than ever.
This seems like it's going to cost so much. This seems like it's going to cost so much. This seems like it's going to cost so much.
Nick Minute.
While we're not ready to announce all the pricing details, hang on.
That's
hang
normal.
on. What I can share with you tonight is this. When the 2020 Corvette Stingray goes on sale in the U.S., it will start at less than $60,000.
What?
So that's pretty great. Thank you. Yeah, it's. I mean, this is what Chevrolet and Corvette's all about, right? I mean,
No
this is what our
way.
engineers and our teams strive
Under
for.
60.
Where else can you get a supercar that goes 0 to 60 in less than 3 seconds for this kind of money? Unbelievable.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Pretty good presentation and a very, very impressive car. I'm not going to lie. The power numbers seem good. The price, incredible. I can almost leave the video off on that note, because with the price point of under $60,000, I'm sure it's not going to have every option at that kind of price, but it'll have a good amount of that performance. Now, the 0 to 60 time being under 3 seconds, I'm sure that's probably with some kind of launch control. I'd like to see how exactly Chevy managed to design the car to be able to do that, even though it doesn't even have 500 horsepower. I do wonder if they're going to be able to avoid any issues with like the trunk area like kind of heating up quite a bit, because I know that does tend to be an issue on some mid-engine supercars and stuff, whereas it just gets a little bit hot there because the engine is also there. It looks like Chevy's doing a good job with making the reserve system relatively easier, so hopefully we don't have too many issues when it comes to dealer markups or even trying to get allocations for it. So hopefully that doesn't end up being an issue. Let's go into Twitter and see what exactly people are saying about this car. So this is an interesting tweet I saw. Convertible version shown for an instant, and the reveal video will also likely sell, whatever. Yeah, this is kind of cool to see. I didn't notice the convertible variant, probably because I wasn't on the video yet. But that actually looks really good for a convertible Corvette. I haven't really liked them in the past because I felt like it just never looked good enough with the top up, and being that you had the removable roof anyway, it just all felt redundant. Makes way for new tech. That should be interesting because yeah, so much new technology in this one. Something like the Z mode, which is named after like Z51, Z06, ZR1, etc. Similar to BMW's M mode, if you will. That's really cool to see that onto the Corvette now. So like to have those kind of customization, quick shortcuts and whatever, very happy to see that. I wonder how many boomers are going to get the Corvette branded golf bag on the new Corvette C8. Well, I'm seeing a lot of stuff about boomer bashing, I guess, and we'll see how many of them even want to buy this car, because no manual, it's quite a departure from form. But when you think about it though, C6 to C7, that had a lot of departure from form, though it still had a lot of the root stuff like front engine, manual transmission. This one has none of that. It's very much more technology oriented, so we'll see how certain market segments react, especially because they say that the Corvette tends to have the oldest buyers of sports cars, so we'll see what that does to their bottom line. No manual transmission, the new Chevrolet Corvette is dead to me. Another one bites the dust. What is this world coming to? Not gonna lie, it is a bit sad that it doesn't have the manual. Oh, 2020 Corvette engine giving me serious Iron Man vibes. I mean, look at this engine bay. Like, that's a cool engine right there. The cover of it and everything. Oh, this is a good tweet. all these haters saying, oh, it looks ugly, probably got this in the driveway. You know, that tends to be true a lot of times. The biggest critics don't really tend to be in that kind of market anyway. Okay, here's an interesting tweet. It looks like it was a reply to a tweet talking about pricing and stuff. A very cheap McLaren 570S, and wait for the GT3 racer that will follow. Pretty interesting to mention because this really seems like it squares up more against some supercars. Like, a lot of it really does seem almost McLaren 570S related, so we'll see how it ultimately compares. And finally, less than $60,000 and a gift that says shut up and take my money. I think that really says it. I mean, I like to say that the C6 was a Corvette that I really appreciated for its driving platform, even if it wasn't the best in terms of interior feel and stuff. The C7 improved the interior, being a car that I kind of actually want to buy, but this C8 is one that I'm actually sad I can't afford at the moment. So I'll have to say is well done to the Corvette team, well done to Chevy on creating this. This was really, really cool. Let me know what you guys think about the new Chevrolet Corvette C8, and what do you think? Is it a good value, a good buy, whatever? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching. Please be sure to give me a follow, and stay tuned for another video. Also, it's now like 1 a.m. I'm done. Going to bed.